pro-Palestinian supporters rally in Mississauga.
Free, free Palestine! Free, free Palestine!
Thousands attend a pro-Palestinian rally at Celebration Square as deadly violence between Israeli forces and Gaza militants continues into its 9th day. And
I just want to get the vaccine so I could, go outside more.
Every adult in Ontario is now eligible to get vaccinated, and hundreds of thousands of people were quick to book an appointment today as the province expanded eligibility. And
this one family lost 2 kids in 1 second. We can't believe it.
a community still in shock, a family now in deep mourning after 2 siblings were struck and killed by a car. The latest in the investigation as York police continue piecing together what happened. Good evening, I'm Kelda Yoon. The conflict in the Middle East is showing no signs of slowing down despite growing international calls for a ceasefire between Israel and Gaza militants. In Mississauga tonight, thousands of Palestinian supporters attended a rally calling on Canada to do more to help end the deadly violence. Our Jessica Ng has more.
Palestine will be free!
Protesters shouting their message in unison in Celebration Square. Later, moving to block Burnenthorpe Road West, a major artery with fireworks, colored smoke, and even a flag-bearing drone. It was another day of intense Israeli airstrikes into Gaza, and rockets from Palestinian militants fired back across the border at Israel. So far, over 200 Palestinians have died, with another 1,500 injured. On the other side, 12 Israelis have died and 300 wounded.
It can't be a fight. A fight's when 2 parties are equal. That's not how it is. Their kids are dying. They're fighting with rocks when people are sending bombs at them. That's not a fight.
Israeli forces say they will continue with the military offensive against militants in the Gaza, and that has included more than 3,400 rockets.
My aunt and her family are now huddled in one room as the street around them has been bombed to smithereens.
Hamam Farah is a board member of the Palestinian Canadian Community Center, known as Palestine House. He helped organize today's rally.
With more and more people waking up to the reality of Israeli apartheid, we're saying that this must end and it's time to boycott, divest and sanction from Israel.
Today, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau called for a ceasefire.
We will work with the international community to de-escalate the situation and to move forward so that there is no more loss of civilian life.
For those in attendance, the show of support from other countries highlights the importance of Canada taking a stand. Pakistan, Syria, and El Salvador are just some of the countries represented in the signs and voices here today.
We all come together and we're all doing the same thing, you know what I mean? Fighting for our brothers and sisters in Palestine. We're fighting for their rights.
This is a human rights issue. It's not just an issue about religion. It's about helping people out who actually need help.
The UN General Assembly is meeting Thursday to discuss the issue as the calls for an end to the conflict continue around the world. Jessica Ng, CBC News, Mississauga.
To the pandemic now, the province is seeing a big drop in COVID-19 cases today. Health officials reported just over 1,600 new cases. That's the fewest new cases in a single day in almost 2 months. Testing, however, was also low, with just under 23,000 tests completed. The test positivity rate now stands at 7.6%. 17 more deaths of people with COVID-19 were also reported. A landmark for the province's vaccination campaign. It's the first day that everyone aged 18 and up in Ontario became eligible to get a shot. And already more than 250,000 appointments have been booked. Our Queen's Park reporter Mike Crawley has all the details.
A sign that it's full steam ahead for Ontario's vaccine campaign. Teenagers in a Toronto hotspot lined up to get vaccinated.
It's really good, honestly, to include more people into it, especially the younger group, because we've lost so much during the pandemic, and we're all at home isolating and we're not used to it.
I just want to get the vaccine so I could, go outside more.
As soon as this pop-up clinic got announced, kids flocked here, some of them with their mums.
So I said, I'm taking the day. We're going to go camp out, bring some snacks, and get your vaccine today.
It's been said that getting a vaccine appointment in Ontario is like being in the Hunger Games. The health minister says that's no longer true.
I would say that it is very easy for people now to be able to receive a vaccine dose. Either they can go online to book their appointment, or if they don't have a computer and they can't do it online, they can certainly just call the telephone number, the helpline, and they can book it through that number, or they can book through their local pharmacy.
More than 250,000 vaccination appointments were booked on the provincial system today, as every adult in Ontario became eligible. That's more than on any previous day. With vaccination coverage widening, the government is promising to release its reopening plan very soon.
We have been working with the Chief Medical Officer of Health and the medical experts on a safe and careful reopening of Ontario, because the last thing we want is to go into it too quickly and get into a fourth wave. We have to do everything we can to avoid that.
No specifics on when the new reopening plan will be made public, but officials say the plan will not use Ontario's color-coded system that was in place last fall and winter. Mike Crawley, CBC News, Toronto.
With cases of COVID-19 down dramatically, families with loved ones in long-term care are pleading with the government to loosen visitor restrictions, at least for outdoor visits. At least 96% of residents are now fully vaccinated, and many of their visiting family members have one dose. Lorenda Redicop reports.
She's 102. She survived COVID. At the very least, let my aunt hug her.
Michelle Jones says this is the one time her aunt got to see her grandma on her birthday last month.
Since when are nursing homes incarceration? Because that is what's going on.
Jones is one of 2 essential caregivers. She visits every day and is fully vaccinated. But she says her grandma doesn't know her anymore due to her dementia. She does remember older family members.
Last year, when this all went down, my grandmother said to them, "How come no one's coming to see me? No one loves me anymore." She stopped eating and drinking. In April, before her 101st birthday, I had to sing happy birthday to this window. And the fact that they're still doing this, it's unconscionable.
Some restrictions have been lifted. Fully vaccinated families and residents can hug. Communal dining is again allowed, along with indoor exercises between residents in the same cohort. But some provinces have eased restrictions more, allowing more visitors. The NDP brought up families' concerns in the legislature.
Why are these residents still being kept separate from their families and loved ones?
Our first priority, obviously, is the safety and security of the people in long-term care and their families, Mr. Speaker. We are in the midst of a third wave.
Dr. Samir Sinha feels at this point, with most residents fully vaccinated and most families with one dose, outdoor visits should be allowed.
These are very, very safe activities, but ones that I think the government held back on just out of an abundance of caution.
He says the toll on mental health has been clear, with a decline due to loneliness and depression.
We've really robbed, countless residents and their families of, maybe one of the only things that really brings them joy.
He expects the government will wait until the stay-at-home order is lifted. For Michelle Jones, it can't come soon enough.
You can't Skype with somebody with dementia. It just doesn't work.
Lorenda Redicop, CBC News, Toronto.
All right, let's go to meteorologist Colette Kennedy now with a first look at the forecast. And Colette, another beautiful day. We are getting spoiled this week.
Thanks, Kelda. Well, how about them apples? I mean, what a day today. 26 degrees, the unofficial high for us, and many readings in that range. A little cooler near the lakeshore, of course. And we're going to kind of see that tomorrow afternoon. The winds in the afternoon from the south get a little stronger. So it'll be a slightly cooler. The temperatures there tend to be in the lower 20s. Still very fine. What we're also going to be seeing is after a clear night overnight tonight, some increase in cloudiness. Fair weather stuff for us into tomorrow afternoon, maybe a little bit more though than we experienced today, and then things change. Not all fair weather as we go into Thursday. In the morning hours, a few showers possible, and into the afternoon again, just a few isolated pop-up showers, thunderstorms possibly, more likely some showers that we'll be seeing, and that's really about it. So we still stay pretty much on the dry side of things, but certainly for tomorrow, we'll look ahead to that for Thursday. 13 degrees overnight tonight, and for tomorrow, even a little bit warmer, 27 degrees, Kelda.
Sounds good. Thanks, Colette. Well, now to Vaughan, where a community is reeling after the death of a 4-year-old boy and his 10-year-old sister. The two were struck by an out-of-control driver while playing on their driveway. As our Natalie Collada tells us, neighbors are coming together to support the family as police continue to piece together what happened.
Well, for this second day, the memorial outside the family home here behind me continues to grow, becoming a gathering place for members of the community as they come to remember these two children. Among those who came to pay their respects today, the children's father. He arrived offering a ceremonial token, an offering to both his children with yogurt, a hairbrush, cookies as well, placed and laid down on the ground where they fell. Now, police escorted the father. He asked that he not be filmed by the media. He was overwhelmed, as you can imagine, as the family as well as the community now grieves this loss of another child.
I always used to bring my dog for a walk and I used to see their babies, but I don't know, it's just crazy.
It's terrible what happened to kids right away. This one family lost 2 kids in 1 second. We can't believe it.
I have 3 young boys. They're 5, 7, and 2. And my heart is just broken for this family.
This is part of us doing the most thorough investigation we possibly can. We want to make sure we get a hold of any evidence that might be out there. So we do ask that we've had wonderful, obviously the community has been very, very affected by this, very devastated by it.
Now, police continue to canvass the area today looking for more security video, dash cam video, and witness statements to help bolster their investigation. Now, they also said they were made aware of a GoFundMe page that has been set up for the family, though the family has not been participated. It was not set up by them and has not been discussed with them at all. As for the 16-year-old driver, he is expected in court tomorrow. Natalie Collada, CBC News, Vaughan.
And we also heard from the family today. York Regional Police released a statement from the parents that read, "We are extremely traumatized by the tragic loss of our daughter and son. The past days have been extremely difficult for our family. We appreciate the prayers and thoughts of all those grieving with us." The family requested privacy and asked that the names and photos of their children not be released.
In order to help with patient flow through the emergency rooms at Toronto General and Toronto Western Hospital, they've put up tents like this.
We recognize that this is going to be a waiting space, but we want to prepare for the worst case scenario. What would happen if someone had a cardiac arrest in the tent? What happened if there was an acute care concern? How would we move that patient safely into the emerge? And so we do simulations to do that.
I'm Talia Ricci, and coming up, we sit in on simulation training to see how these tents will be used.
Starting this week, Ontarians can buy a rapid COVID-19 antigen test at Shoppers Drug Mart and Loblaw pharmacies. The tests are limited to those without symptoms or for people who have not been in contact with a positive case. It comes as the province ramps up rapid testing in workplaces after months of criticism of tests sitting unused. Farah Morelli has more.
My friends, the new rapid tests are game changers.
They've been praised as a key tool in the fight against COVID-19. Rapid antigen testing that turn around results in as little as 15 minutes. Those tests now available at Shoppers Drug Mart as a first layer of precaution for those without COVID-19 symptoms, but at a price, $40 to be exact.
Who's going to be able to access that for $40 or more, what it's being listed at?
And while the expansion of rapid testing is being welcomed, there are questions about the province's supply, some of which sat unused for months.
There's so much confusion or lack of transparency as to what has actually been going on with rapid testing and what's available, what's sitting in boxes, what has been paid for, why it's not out there, and why it's not out there to help protect people who need it most.
Here's what we know about the supply of rapid tests in the province. According to the numbers from the federal government, more than 11 million tests have been sent to Ontario. Around 8.3 million tests have been deployed, but of those, only about 2 million have actually been used.
Well, I know literally hundreds of thousands have been deployed.
In recent weeks, the province expanded rapid testing, bringing 760,000 rapid tests to local chambers of commerce, making it easier for essential businesses to get tests for free. But there are still questions about how the tests will play into reopening, especially for businesses that remain shuttered.
First step was to make it available. That's fantastic. Now we need to indicate what it actually allows a business to do. And I think if you do attach it to reopening or allowing more business activity to happen, you will see a pretty quick and swift uptake on that side.
It brings down your risk of transmitting, but it's not the be-all and end-all solution to drop everything.
While experts welcome the expansion, a reminder that rapid tests aren't a perfect science.
Test your employees regularly. You have to use them fairly frequently in your workplace, like at least 2 to 3 times a week to catch any infections. And yeah, just follow the lead of industries that have done really well with it.
And while it may be a game changer, it's not the silver bullet that alone will facilitate reopening. Farah Morelli, CBC News, Toronto.
Staff at a pair of Toronto hospitals have been training in new tents outside their emergency departments. The tents are meant to create more space for physical distancing as patients wait to see a doctor. Our Talia Ricci gives us a look inside and gets a glimpse of the training.
Cold blue in the tent, please. Cold blue in the tent. I need some help out here. Got it. I found him down. There's no pulse.
So today we are doing in situ simulation, which is simulation in a space that we do clinical practice. We're doing it in the new tents that we've built at the Toronto General and Toronto Western hospitals. These tents have been designed as waiting rooms, and the purpose of them is to help people socially distance while waiting in the emerge so that they can feel safer when they come here.
1, 2, 3. Tell me a bit about what we saw today and what the process was of that training.
We recognize that this is going to be a waiting space, but we want to prepare for the worst case scenario. What would happen if someone had a cardiac arrest in the tent? What happened if there was an acute care concern? How would we move that patient safely into the emerge? And so we do simulations to do that. And throughout that, we take notes on all of the safety challenges that we think we have to address. It can be as basic as the ground is uneven, which makes it difficult to push a stretcher. Or it can be as complex as how do we actually deliver CPR on a patient who's outside of our emerge. And we write all of these challenges down and then we solve them one by one by one.
The whole point of doing the simulations is to not only make patients feel safe, but staff feel safe and supported. And it gives us an opportunity to do things in a lighthearted way, to learn in a safe environment, to make mistakes in a safe environment. What have the emergency departments looked like lately?
So we are seeing a fair number of patients who are in mental health crisis. Lockdowns have been extremely difficult on people. We've also, in recent weeks, seen many concerns over vaccine side effects. The vast majority are minor type side effects that are to be expected with the vaccine. But unfortunately, because of all the concerns around the serious side effects, it's caused a lot of distress to people who have come to us seeking an assessment to ensure that they're not having one of the serious side effects. I anticipate as the vaccination ramps up and people feel more and more safe and comfortable, we will see a surge in activity in the emergency departments for many of the conditions that have been deferred throughout.
Ideally, this will remain a tent that never has a patient in it, because that means that we're able to adapt our inside spaces, but we'll be ready if we do.
You are looking at a live shot of the Toronto skyline. A few cloudy periods this evening, but mainly clear overnight. And how about these temperatures? Currently, it is 20 degrees in downtown Toronto. Let's go back to Colette now with a look at your extended forecast. And Colette, it's still May, but really feeling more like June or even July.
Thanks, Kelda. We have to kind of check the calendar, right? Wait a minute, this is just May, right? And we're barely past mid-May. Yes, even though our temperatures, and especially as we go towards the end of the week, they're building to readings that are going to be more like what we might see into July, and especially as we start to get some humidity coming at us as well. So the pattern continues of warm and, in fact, getting warmer. We do have that chance of showers coming in. I was showing that earlier in the show, but we'll take you through that just again early and late in the day on Thursday, and then a few other spots into the long-range forecast. Towards the weekend, though, the dew points start to rise, so the stickiness of the air, that goes up a little bit. You need a little bit more water or fluids if you're going to be exercising in the mid part of the day, in the heat of the day. It's just something you want to kind of take it easy, right? Along with the sunscreen we obviously need. I wanted to show you this. 9 a.m. this morning, already 20 degrees at Oshawa and Toronto as well. Already coming in at 29 o'clock. So yeah, tomorrow morning, it warms up pretty quickly, right? And then there you go into the afternoon hours. Peterborough even spiking up towards 27 degrees there this afternoon around 4 o'clock. This is a look at the cloud cover. First of all, tomorrow afternoon, a little extra cloud cover, a little more than what we saw build in today since there wasn't much. But then into Thursday morning, that chance for some showers early, okay, kind of passing. Much of this may tag to the north of the city, but we could see some coming through even towards the downtown core. Now into the afternoon, an even greater chance that stays to the north of us and then tracks off to the east. The odd thunderstorm isolated, but yeah, it's possible in there too. And then into Friday, we're actually going to be doing okay. Slight chance for showers that day. Really, as we get the humidity coming up and that convection, we get into a chance of seeing some lift and some scattered showers as we go into the holiday weekend. Not much more than that. Weak cold front will go through eventually. But here you go. Tonight, 12 degrees Windsor. How about that? 28 degrees tomorrow. Yes, you are going to see increase in cloudiness through there too. Clear tonight, 10 for St. Catharines, 13 for Mississauga, and a look at your highs in the upper 20s for tomorrow. And we will be flirting with, if not getting right there to 30 degrees on Friday in terms of the temperatures, and that heat continues into the weekend. We cool down a little bit after that cold front passes into Monday, Kelda.
Thanks, Colette.
This weather update is brought to you by Train. For a limited time, take advantage of 36 equal payments and 0% financing. It's hard to stop a train.
The Marine unit was on patrol today and found a furry friend in need. What happened next? That's after the break. Welcome back. The Toronto Police Marine Unit made a very important rescue today.
Look at you, man.
Police say the pup was at the Coronation Park off-leash dog park when it jumped the fence and went for an unexpected dip. Marine Unit officers rescued the pup from the water and were able to reunite the furry friend with its owners. And that's our show for you tonight. Thank you so much for watching. Dwight Drummond has your next local newscast tomorrow at 6, and there will be no 11 p.m. newscast tomorrow due to hockey playoffs. So I will see you back here on Thursday. Have a great night, everyone.